In this video, we're going to look at creating a project from scratch with Trade Specifics. So we're on the main dashboard, but if you go to New Project under the Tools, you have to enter information here. We can enter the project title, which can be whatever you want. You can enter the project number. This field can contain whatever you would like. But if you think about it in terms of the year and the number of projects you've worked on so far, along with the name of the project, you could come up with a pretty creative project number for your system. You could also add a budget, and then for the dates, you could start with a, say, January 1st start date, and then your end date could be, say, the end of February or the beginning of March. So if you don't have a start date, you can leave it blank, but you can also add what you think the start date will be and then change it. The project manager could be anyone you've added to your project so far that is not a worker. And then the safety meeting recipient is actually an email address of the person who's going to receive emails every time someone on your team completes a safety meeting. And then you have the option to auto start and stop the workers' timers when entering or leaving the geofence. Now, what's a geofence? Well, once we add the address of BC Place, you can see the location on the map here, and you can toggle between the scale of the project. So now, anytime that anyone enters this geofence, their timer will stop and start, depending on when they come and when they go. You've got three types of tasks here already as a default, meaning you start with some information in your project, but you can also add information in your project. So let's do that now. For example, you could start with tasks like heavy lifting. And now you've got options to add safety meetings for this task. So anytime someone logs in for the day and they know their task is going to be heavy lifting, what are the safety meetings that you would add? If you've created safety meetings already, you would just add heavy lifting safety meetings to those, and then you would click next. And then you'd have these two safety meetings in your task for the day, which means every time that someone logs in for the day, they would see those safety meetings. So now it's showing all of the information related to this project. You can see that the radius is 250 meters. The budget's 100,000. You've got one additional task that you'll be able to have your team, your crew choose from, and two safety meetings associated with that. And you could just create the project right here. Now, what happens if you don't have a safety meeting in here? If that's the case, then you can go back and you can create a new task. Let's create a new task called wall assembly. So for this task, we don't necessarily have safety meetings set up yet. So we could create meetings for this wall assembly task. So there you just create a meeting, and then you can add any code that you want. Then you've got safety meeting questions. So now that you've entered details for your wall assembly, you can add safety meeting questions for this safety meeting. So the question title could be, do you have all the materials you need for the day? You can add options to this, say it's yes or no. And you could add an additional question. You could ask, can you send a photo of your progress? So you could ask, when you send a photo of your progress at noon and at 5 p.m. today, what parts of the job site will you be working on? You can leave this as an open text field of this question. So this could be the safety meeting now. So now you've got the wall assembly task. You don't need the lifting heavy objects, but you could do wall assembly 1, which is the meeting you just created for this specific task of wall assembly. And click next. So now you're adding this task and these safety meetings, or this safety meeting, on top of the 3 other tasks that you have associated with this project. And you can just review those project details and tasks. You can edit any details that don't match what you meant to enter, and then you can create the project. Now you've got one additional project alongside other projects that were part of your company, and you can change the status here to not started.